There is this cool confidence that comes with knowing who you are. And what I've learned is the more I own who I am, the more I give less fucks about other people. And it doesn't mean that people aren't less important, but I can help to prioritize the people that I need because I know who I am.
The world is only ever going to judge you based on what your words, actions, and behaviors communicate, or what your presentation communicates.
The more you ask questions and you let somebody else speak, I don't think you don't disappear. You actually show up more for them. Especially as an entrepreneur, there's this hustle, there's this culture. And as a 40-year-old woman, rest is like more critical than ever. I do have this mission and I want to be a fucking magical badass. What is a magical badass? It is...
Welcome back to Flipping the Lid. You know what we do here by now. I love to have the real, raw conversations with some of the most impactful, influential, and just awesome people on this planet. And today, our guest is all of those things. I had the chance to meet her not long ago, interview her on my other show, and I've got to say, her energy is infectious out the gate. She's hilarious. And I have laughed very hard with her in very short periods of time already. And though we don't have very extensive intake forms, both for my short form show and for this one, some of the answers just made me laugh right out of the gate. But she is a visual storyteller and she has an ability to see what needs to have visually represented for stories to land, for the emotions to move, for the lessons and the language to actually be captured by those who are looking at it. Whether it's in a corporate design or a simplified PowerPoint deck, she has an ability to not just help people understand and get clear with what message needs to be delivered, but frankly, how to visually represent that beyond the words. And in communicating with her, she's just got this magic touch to everything in her life, it seems. And so, Emily Schneider, I am so excited to jump in and interview with you today, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. What a amazing intro, Brian. That was sweet. Could you?
Well, it's total bullshit. I just made it all. I'm totally kidding.
Like, who are you talking about? No, that was amazing.
You're like, wait, who is this?
Yeah.
You know, I love to freestyle both the intros and the outros in this show based on what the interactions are. And sometimes I don't have a lot, but I try to go off the little bit that I do have. And so though we don't know each other that well, everything I said, I genuinely feel and believe. And when I saw you were on the deck today, I was like, yes, like this is going to be a fun one because I had a whole day full of interviews and you're my second to last for the day, but I knew you were going to bring the energy just because even just the smile sitting across, that's it. You just have a presence about you.
Oh, thank you.
The only question I ask all of our guests on both of our shows is, regardless of however I've introduced you and whatever I've said about you so far, Emily, who are you in your words?
I love it. So I like to describe myself as a visual storyteller with a specialty in PowerPoint design. I geek out about this weird platform that most people hate. And truth be told, I used to think it was a bad word. And now it's like where I do all of my magic. Stealing your word, but I love that word too, to be honest. And my magical knack is simplifying complex information into captivating, insightful, and just simple, articulate designs that move people and conversations, more importantly, forward. I didn't realize that I had this power until I really started realizing, that's a weird way to say it, but I didn't realize I had this power.
It's not a weird way to say it. It's you owning what is real. Like, no, but own it.
Realizing two times in like the matter of 4 words is weird. But I didn't realize I had this power until I started knowing that I loved it. Like once I found out that like this is my weird, joyful spot in the world, and I can tell you more about the book I read that brought me to this term called zone of genius. And I was like, holy crap, I can, right? We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
You can say fuck on this show for all I care. Yeah,
okay, great.
Let's go.
So I was like, holy crap, like this book spoke to me. But when you talk about finding your zone of genius, the space or the thing that you do that not only lights you up, that empowers you to light other people up, that was like the magic for me. And it aligned to this mission statement I wrote 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, that still holds true. My journey, my life, my work has evolved and it just keeps getting better. And like, that's why I know I'm doing the work I'm supposed to do and sharing it with people who need it. It's fun.
And so, Emily, I'm going to give you a playful nudge and challenge here in this moment. So I asked you to tell us who you are in your words, and you told us a lot about what you do in your words.
Who I am. Yeah.
Now,
that's totally fair.
That said, there's elements about who you are that I think were intertwined in there, but it's obviously had a heavy focus on the what. So who's Emily? Like beyond what you do, who are you and who are you in this world?
Yeah. So truth be told, yes, my work is very much about who I am, especially when you're talking to me during business hours. But in real life, who I am, I am a mom. I am a friend. I am an empathetic, really creatively curious person. I believe that the more we know, the better we can do. Going back to what I did say, I do have this mission and I want to be a fucking magical badass. What is a badass? What is a magical badass? It is somebody who is rooted in love and kindness and compassion and helps people elevate and share their messages forward, whatever that may be. I have this vision and this goal of like, I've always loved helping people, but I want to help people be confident and be happy. And like, there's so much power in kindness and sharing a smile and asking somebody hi and like, what's your name and how's your day, and like not making it loaded and just simple things like that. I'll talk about the weather too, because I think there's beauty in that too. But like, you know what I mean? Those are like very like surface level conversations. Like I meet somebody, like today I was making a return and like I said, thank you, Jason. And like, the way his presence changed when I used his name. It's simple things like that that really, I think, can make an impact. And our world is wild and it's sick and it's crazy and it's literally on fire. And like, I'm going to be honest, I'm not saving lives, but if I can help one person do their work better, or I can help my kids see the world with a little bit more heart and love and be kinder or be more thoughtful about people, I think I'm going to do my job. So
that's
who I am.
I challenged you and you just dropped the mic on that answer. You went deep and you covered a lot of ground, but I knew that you had the ability to do that, which is also the only reason I did challenge you.
Yeah, no, I answered the question wrong. It
wasn't about right or wrong. It was just about the nuance sometimes of the simplicity of how language may not connect in a moment, right? Yeah. That's all it is. And visually, you help support and close that gap in a different way. And by the way, I want to be a fucking magical badass too. I think that's amazing. I love how you said that. And it aligns so deeply with who I am and the work I do, yet it's completely different in the mediums and delivery in how we do it. But yet it's about highlighting that. I also really, really appreciate the simplicity of the story of just using somebody's first name. I had to pause on that for a second. This is not about me, it's about you, but I'm going to share this with you because I think it will resonate with you. My son is 11. He's on the spectrum. He's brilliant, crazy smart, super kind, unbelievable heart, but he also misses a lot of social cues and a lot of different things. And he is like the epitome of the kid that always has good intent and wants to make jokes and say things that are funny, but often misses the context and it doesn't land and it hurts, right? Mm-hmm. And it was around people's names. He was telling me a story the other day about how he called this one girl a name and how everybody thought it was funny and he thought it was funny and it was all good and kind. And he said the name. And then he realized later on when she started to cry that it actually hurt her feelings. So then he said, so I'm just going to call her. And I think he said something like Sparkly Flippers or something. I'm making up the term. It was some other name that was supposed to be good. And the conversation I had with him is I said, buddy, not only will you never go wrong, but you actually will probably win more points than you realize if you only ever call people by their first name. Mm-hmm. Their real given name, not what name you want to call them, not nickname, because so infrequently do people get called by their name, often in today's world. And second, you can never offend somebody by calling them their own name, right? So you're only reinforcing it. But the nuance of intentionality that you just gave, we truly can lift people up in any given moment. And you have so much energy. I love the clarity and I love the heart that just is so palpable coming out of you. Give us a little bit of backdrop into who Emily used to be, that developed into who we see today, and some of the most critical components that you think helped you understand some of the clarity in some of the points you've already made so far.
Oh God, you are going deep. This is so fun.
Dude, anything that lacks depth doesn't interest me. I don't like weather conversations. Like, I'm not a surface level guy at all. So
I love it. Okay. So okay, fine. I mean, I'm happy to share this stuff. So I feel like, let's go back, right? Like, I've always been this curious, empathetic, like wondrous person, right? I just liked breaking things and putting them back together. I liked helping people break things and put them back together, those kind of things. But I think that like what's very interesting to me, and I'm a second born child. I have a brother who, you know, I don't know what his baggage is, but like he just always felt like he had it together. He had a bunch of friends. He was like the social light, and he like always was doing these cool things. And I was this little sister who like wanted to be just like him, but I never was the same person. I grew up and like my thing was dance. And I've always said dance was this expression that I didn't have to speak and I could do and be and feel. I used to get hurt a lot, and more so I used to break all our props. That was like the joke in my competitive dance group. Like for some reason, we always had like weird props. Like I was in a body spandex bag once, and I kept ripping it and falling out of it. Yeah, it was called Weird Science. We also did a dance. Oh my God, my dance teacher, God rest her soul, but like she had some crazy ideas. We did a dance to Itsy Bitsy Spider with chairs, and we jumped off of them, and I broke 3 folding chairs jumping off. And I wasn't like a giant child, but like I always did that. I always like got injured in this process. So dance was like probably I would have gotten injured more. Anywho, I say that because dance was a way that I always felt in my skin. And there were moments in life that I just remember. And again, I'm looking back as a 43-year-old lady versus this like 13, 12-year-old. And like I had amazing friends and I had a great group, but I always yearned for more, or I always thought that I wasn't enough, let's say. And I used to think that I needed to be the most unique, special, cool person in the room. And what did that mean? Doing handstands in the middle of a meeting because I needed to break up energy. Having crazy, I had my hair like this for 2 years. Like one side was boy, one side was girl. It was cool, but it drew attention. I wanted the attention and I wanted to be the most interesting person in the world. And that's how I felt that I was my own. And it was an expression, and I didn't realize at that point. But what I really was just trying to do was find who I was, because I realize now that like I can still be me, and I'm not one of my biggest fears is being basic. Like I'm not basic. I know that. And that I feel failure. I feel fear being stuck. So staying in the same spot and being basic. Like I'm not basic.
My 10-year-old daughter's voice just went through my mind. Yeah, basic. Yeah, basic. Yeah. She like loves that.
Yeah, don't want to be basic. But I don't need to be the most different in the room. I just need to be me. And that evolved as I started to own my shit, own what I loved, being more truthful with where I am, being more intentional with how I show up. And I think as I gotten older, and I think art became, even though I still love dancing, art became that expression because I could bring something forward and it had motion and it had movement and it had a story and it had empathy. And so like I studied design, not realizing that I was helping somebody tell their story, and it got me to where I'm at. And now I do that with my kids, right? How you dress, how you feel. And my husband is like the exact opposite. So he doesn't ever understand, but like I grew up always like, if I don't feel good in what I'm wearing, I don't feel good that day. Like there is this confidence and this cool confidence that comes with knowing who you are and sharing that out there. And what I've learned is the more I own who I am, the more I give less fucks about other people, and the more I actually find the people that I do care about. And like time and energy are so limited these days. I'm starting to use the word, I've learned it from a really amazing corporate meditation leader, to use the word abundant. Like my calendar is just abundant because that's the season of life I'm in. And it doesn't mean that people aren't less important, but I can help to prioritize the people that I need because I know who I am. That kind of got off track, but you get where I'm saying. Like I grew up trying to be the most interesting, curious, unique person in the room. And now I actually sometimes remind myself when I go into like networking events, like, you don't want to be the most interesting. You want to be the most interested in other people. But then I'll like walk away and be like, but I was fucking the coolest person who was there. And that's okay. Nobody else.
Emily, I feel like we can hang out like this. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, okay, we could be totally buddies. Like this is so cool.
You're hitting some really good spots.
You're awesome. God, there's so many things there that I want to jump in on. Look, I don't pre-write questions on this show, and I never know exactly what's going to come up. And sometimes it's like real deep and philosophical and like coaching and reflections and depth. And other times it's like random ass shit that comes up in the course of the conversation. And I think today's going to probably be both. Okay. So I love already how this is going. I have a question for you though, that is really specific to what you just said about being in the room. And I hate asking close-ended questions or yes and no questions, but if I don't know another way to ask it, it is what it is. So if this one doesn't come out well, please give me grace and don't just give me a one-word answer.
Okay, got it. Noted.
Do you believe you have the ability to hide in a room even if you wanted to?
No, I don't. I don't know how. I don't know how to be, because I am, even though I know I'm interesting, let's say, like, and like, I don't mean to be cocky, but like, I know I'm interesting, but I'm really intentional. And I'm going to say I'm pretty good at getting people to speak up, to ask questions like, what's your name? What do you do? What made you smile today? That's one of my favorite questions to ask somebody. Not how are you? That's again, that's a loaded question, but like, what made you smile? Yeah. What's something that you did that was cool? What was the last thing you know, like there's always a really great question to ask. And the more you ask questions and you let somebody else speak, I don't think you don't disappear. You actually show up more for them.
So I agree completely. And I think questions are one of the areas that I teach so fundamentally is important in everything we do. I think the only time that we get stuck or we exist in waste is when we stop asking questions of ourselves and of each other, right? Like genuinely, you're crossing your fingers. I don't even know what that means right now. What does that mean? What's going on?
Something to say that I don't want to forget.
I was like, I don't know this signal. I'm learning new languages as we're talking.
I don't want to like, this is what happens in a room. It's like you said something, I don't want to forget it. So I'm going to go right back to it.
I love it. But here's the thing. I'm all about tools. And I was like, she's doing that for a reason. I need to ask her. Cause question. I'm like, I can sit here and wonder, or I can ask. Yeah. You have a big energy, right? And sure. I asked that question and it came from a very specific string of what you said, but it also was rooted in the fact that about a year and a half ago, I tried over the course of 3 different big room environments where I wasn't going to be a speaker at the event. People didn't know I was going to be at the event, and I'm not a big deal at all. So I want to be clear when I'm saying this. I'm not like, oh, well, no, but I was not in that place other than to be there. And I did not want to engage, honestly, at the time with where it was at. I wanted to test. And so I went into every single one and I tried to hide. Literally, like tried to be in the back of the room, tried to like sit in a corner, tried not to talk or raise my hands, which is hard for me. I can listen really well, but it's like I like to engage. It was impossible. The first event I did it at, the event host called me up on stage impromptu right after lunch for 15 minutes. And I wasn't even supposed to be there, nor did I want anybody to know I was there. And he's like, oh, is Brian Bogert in the room? How old are your kids?
My oldest is going to be 10, and then I have a 6-year-old.
Okay. Does the term Riz mean anything to you in their language these days?
No, I don't. They're not bringing those trendy things home yet.
My kids are 10 and 11. That's why the only reason I asked when you said a 10-year-old. So kids are using this word Riz right now. And for the last 6 months, my wife and I have been like asking both of our kids, what the heck does Riz mean? They'll like use it in all these moments. What does Riz mean? And we just found out the other day. It's short for charisma. You have charisma. And your energy and your heart and your presence are palpable. And that's why I asked that question. However, it's different, the shift from being a performer, which is how you described yourself historically, to actually just being in presence. Mm-hmm. When did you learn the importance of making that shift? And how did you learn to exist in presence, regardless of whether or not you're trying to be noticed or not?
Okay. Should I come back to this?
Yes, land there first, and then you can answer the question.
There's one more question that I think is super critical, like that I just learned. And again, I'll name drop. His name is Jeremy Bloom. He's an amazing marketer. He's growing this amazing mentoring ship called Oh Hello, where he pairs people together, and then you pay, but then the money goes to support charities. It's so cool. Anyway, he instilled in me this question randomly at a kid drop off on a Sunday morning: how can I help you? And I think that is also one of the best questions you can ask somebody. I agree. What can I do to help you? And it takes that Riz off of you, but it's still part of you. So I go there. Also interesting about your comment about trying to be quiet in a room. I am looking for networks and things so that I can grow and not be the leader in, because I naturally can take on ownership. And I stepped out of something and recently just got an email that was like, basically like, we will do whatever you want. Can you just come back to our meeting and you can be the leader? And I just am like, that's not what I want. I want to learn from everybody else. I don't want to be the leader. Anyway. Okay. So
there's a lot to be said there. We'll come back to that too. I'm gonna try to remember this tool.
I know. Yeah. It's like, this is going to be a very like modular conversation.
ADD, every direction. It's awesome. Let's go.
I'm just going to do yes. Okay. So when did I know? So to be honest, I've been freelancing for 6 years, right? And like, I don't know if I told you this in our first story or like wrote it in, but like, I worked for agencies for my first 15 years. I spent a year at a startup. It was that role was like way too big for my breeches at that point. I was working with data scientists. I came in as the only female in this small hub. You know, they were in an incubator. They were out of Atlanta. I was in Chicago. And I came in because I was helping them with their presentations, and they're like, we need you. We don't know how to do this. We don't know. Like, they had sales guys, but they needed people. And they brought me in, and it was amazing because it got me out of agency world and I got to work from home and it sounded sexy and all this stuff. Well, I got laid off at 8.5 months pregnant. That really can like be a mind fuck for you. And it can shift you into what's important. What do I need? What do I want to do? And I don't think I've ever been the same since, in the best way. Like, I remember when they called me and I remember saying like, okay, I'm gonna like need to call you back. Like, I can't answer any questions. Like, you just told me I don't have a job. I'm having a baby in 3 weeks. Like, I think we're gonna need to like table this conversation for a few hours and like regroup. And I knew something was up the way that they had reached out. So I think that changed me. What did that change about me? It empowered me to realize that my curiosity was a superpower and not an inhibitor of that. It allowed me to say, it's okay to say, I don't know what's next, or I don't know the answer, but let's keep figuring this out. And it grounded me, and it allowed me to, it created this forced pause, right? Now I didn't have a job, and I was like, what's next? And then I had this baby, and I'm like, they're not going back to work right now, and it's never going to look the same. And I've never been the same. And then, so I did go back to freelancing when she was like 5 months old. And then when she was around a year old, which is actually also when COVID happened, I started a health journey. And my health journey was made up of 4 components. You had a coach, you had a nutrition plan, you had a community, and you had a book. And if you tapped into all of those, for me, it opened up this entire world of self-growth, self-development, curiosity, and the ability to pause and say, what do I need? What's happening? And how am I going to respond? And I didn't just apply that to my diet. I applied it to my life, and I've manifested it and grown it. And I still use those things daily. I would say, and I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I was just actually talking to my health coach today. We use Marco Polo a lot because I only meet with her once a week. And I was like, I still am a person who doesn't understand rest, because my mom never sat down. I'm used, especially as an entrepreneur, there's this hustle, there's this culture. And as a 40-year-old woman, rest is like more critical than ever. Like, my brain, my body, my soul. And I will honestly say that I have learned, specifically in the past 2 years, to pause and come back and be grounded, from meditation to readings. I just saged my house recently, to breathing, to not responding right away, and like taking a moment and like being uncomfortable with silent pauses. And I think all of that is what got me to where I'm at. It just took taking a moment. It took being curious, and it took saying, it's okay to feel weird about this, because I can figure it out if I give myself time, versus that initial response. I'm still very impulsive, but I can take my impulsivity and be like, okay, that's my answer, but like, I'm going to wait to like reply to that email. Right. Yeah. Thank God for delay send.
Well, completely. And I mean, even what you just suggested though, feeds right into the exact same dynamic of the fact that you learn to receive love, validation, and connection through performance, right? Like, the inability to shut off is the belief that if I stop, then I'm not worthy enough. I'm not going to be good enough. People are going to judge me, criticize me, right? It's all of it in that performance game, right? And you were deep and ingrained in it. And so the flip side to this as well is that rest also doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. It is a powerful realization, right? And I studied not long ago, peak performers. Actually, I say not long ago, it's probably a decade ago now. It's passed quickly, but they did a longitudinal study on intermittent and peak performers in military, business, and sports. Intermittent are the one-hit wonders, right? Like you heard their name one time, they had one hit song, they got to the top of their ranks one time. Sustained are, the Kobe Bryants, the Tom Brady's, the Bill Gates of the world, right? The ones that have been there and been there for decades. They showed that the singular difference between the intermittent and the sustained peak performers is that the sustained peak performers treated rest and recovery as important as any part of their training. Mm-hmm. But rest and recovery looks different for everybody, right? Meditation can be meditation in motion. Some people do it in movement. Some people do it. And rest, again, it can mean multiple different things. And so in the nuance of specificity and clarity and communication, you gave examples of things you've started to learn to do to give yourself a pause and a break. None of them sounded completely like rest from the traditional standpoint. And so could you define what rest is for you, and how have you found that equilibrium between all of the demands and the roles that you play as a business owner, as a community member, as a friend, as a mother, right? And find that same space and time for intention for you?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So rest is never usually static. Actually the way I started resting was doing diamond art painting, with my kids, where you extreme dot to dot. So, and listening to something. But yes, it's never static. It's meditation walks. I mean, I can sit, but I can't sit and meditate without a guided meditation for more than 7 minutes, because then it's like my body naturally needs to move. That's how I express when I get built up. I'm like this after meetings. I'm like, I got to go on a walk. So rest has never been paused, but even today is my rest day for my workouts. And I literally sat in bed and was like, okay, I can't move my body, but what should I think about? And I forced myself to lay in bed and think about other things. So but for me, rest is also not being on a screen. It's about playing a game. It's about going on a bike ride. I mean, I'm being outside, and I know that's going to change as the seasons. I can't be outside as much. It's going on walks. It's just even just finding my breath. Last night, I sat in the car after I ran an errand for 15 minutes and didn't come in the house and just sat there. And it was lovely. That's quiet rest for me. I was also pretty tired. But it's also taking care of myself. Yes, it's audiobooks, it's cooking, it's cleaning. I don't even mind folding laundry. I don't love putting it away, but there's repetitiveness in that structure that, and my mom always is your house is so clean, but part of that is going back to the ADHD. It's when I can cleanse the things, I have space to do the next thing. So if that helps,
it
that's
does.
where I find my rest.
I don't even know how to ask this question other than to, I guess, open by sharing an example for myself. I find that I need 1, 2, or 3 things in my life at all times that actually can be all consuming. And what I mean by that is I cannot think about something else while I'm doing it. Right. So sometimes that was sports. For me, one of the things still today is I like to drive my 81 CJ5 that's 4 in the floor, and it's short wheelbase, it's squirrely, it's safe, but you have to pay attention, right? So it's all consuming. It takes all of me, all my faculties, because that's one of the ways I can force myself to get shut off and frankly get into flow. You gave a ton of activities. What's your 1 or 2 go-tos that allow you to be completely and all consumed that's outside of work or your roles as a mom?
Yeah. Okay. So headphones and a really good workout.
Okay.
I also am really I have my own set of oracle cards, but they're more like tarot cards, but they're all color based and energy based. And so I can shut the world off for a few minutes and pull those. And sometimes it's even just stepping outside and taking a breath.
Yeah.
For me, and intentionally being 5 deep breaths. And my kids and I right now, I'm their everything, right? So I get all the energy, all the good and the bad. And when it's bad, it's right now, unfortunately, it's pretty intense, but we're all work in progress. And a lot of that is for me, it's hugging them And it's aligning our breaths together because I need to calm down just as much as they do. And so it's simple things like that. Ice cream is also a good one too. I like ice cream.
Did you say ice cream?
Yeah, I like ice cream.
What's your go-to?
Well, I mean, the easiest is like our Dairy Queen was my wedding cake. So like Dairy Queen, and we can walk to Dairy Queen. We're equidistant to Dairy Queen and Oberweis, but we always go to Dairy Queen.
What do you get at Dairy Queen?
Well, right now they have this peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter and Oreo blizzard. That's like,
oh my goodness,
so good.
Okay.
But if I'm like trying to be, it's annoying for my husband to order. He always orders it for us like online, but I really do like their just like dipped cone and sprinkles.
Yeah. Their dipped cone and sprinkles is legit. Mm-hmm.
Or chocolate with chocolate dipping. Like you don't have to get so fancy. You just need a good Dairy Queen run.
I know this is going to be way too much information for you and everybody listening, but I have a love-hate relationship with blizzards at this point because I do love them and I have loved them always. But I cannot eat a blizzard without it coming out the same way that it went in. And
we have that in my family too.
It fucking wrecks me. Yep. And so I have to be really careful with that. But ice cream is definitely a jam that I have.
I keep lactate pills in my purse for my husband just for that.
I do too. But you know what's actually interesting? Cold Stone Creamery has dairy-free options now that are really solid and really good. So that's a good alternative. And Ben and Jerry's, of all of the brands that make non-dairy ice cream, they have an oat milk based ice cream that you would not even be able to tell the difference, and it comes in a lot of those same flavors. So that's my go-to more often than not now is one of those two. I see the fingers crossed.
Dairy Queen has a dairy-free dilly bar.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I've not been frequently because recently
in cases. I don't know where they make. I don't know if they have it in. I don't know if they make it in house or if they ship it to. Like I don't know how they would ship it.
I'm gonna have to check that out though because Dairy Queen is something that I miss in my life, and I'm really happy you brought it back. It's been a minute since I heard about it, and yeah, I might just have to shit my pants this weekend and get a blizzard just because.
I mean, or just you know what? To be really, just like go ahead get a blizzard cake. That's what we do. It's way more affordable.
I love that. What role has control played in your life?
Oh, okay. I feel like, okay, this is good. In what way? Let's get like.
I left it open-ended on purpose. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, where do I want to go with that? So, am I controlling? Totally. Do I like not having control? Yeah, I do. I do kind of sometimes like not being in the driver's seat. My parents' dynamic is very interesting. So like you're similar to how you were raised. And like my mom is really the one in charge. And my dad was this amazing, he is still, he just turned 80 and we had the most amazing 17 hours surprising him 2 times in 17 hours.
That's super cool.
It was so cool. Yeah. He's just like jolly, joyful, supportive, and like went with the flow, easy. So I think I have like both of them. I think what's interesting when you say that is it's going to parenting. I remember when we brought home my son, and he's going to be 10 on Halloween. So like 10 years ago, and like having this feeling of like, I needed to know everything and I knew everything and my husband knew shit. And like, maybe he was just more honest about being scared than I was, but like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is how so-and-so is doing it. So I honestly knew nothing, and taking that control away and making it more open to like, what do you think, was so much more empowering and made me such a better person. We actually just went on like a business lunch yesterday where we talked about a bunch of like, for me, work stuff. Since solopreneur, you don't have anybody, like he's my person. And I was like, let's go to lunch. And we talked about how, we used to have days of the week of who had to pick where we ate, especially when we were single, because neither of us really wanted to decide. And so it's funny how I like to be in control, but there are things where I just don't give a fuck and I don't care. And I think it's also inflected our parenting because sometimes I think my kids try to walk all over us because I'm like, I don't care where we go to eat. You can pick if we're going out, right? And I don't have like these guardrails, but I do like to be in control in certain things because I just know I'm going to get it done, or I know if I'm part of that solution, I can move it forward. It's actually why I left my coaching business behind and went all in my design business, because as a coach, you can support somebody, you can cheer them on, you can hype them up, you can give them all these tools. But if they're not open, willing, and curious to use them, you have the same conversation every week. And I couldn't do that. But in my design business, you give me a problem, you give me tools, you give me an opportunity. I'm going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say, I don't know the answer, but I've got this far. What do you think? Let's build on it. And that shift of showing up and saying, I knew it all, which I think is part of control, to saying, I did my best. What do you think? Really, for me, changed the way I approach my whole life. Like, what do you think of this? This is what I think. Those kind of just saying that versus like, this is how we should do it. Yeah, but I like being in control because sometimes you just got to get it done. And sometimes it's just easier to do it than to like task it out.
So a couple things came up throughout that. I'm going to do this so that I remember the secondary piece that I want to ask you, but I want to do a follow-up question to what I just did. What would you say are the patterns or the categories in your life with which you like or seek control versus the ones that you surrender?
My work, for sure. My success, how I evaluate success in my work, is for sure a control. What is it? The structure of my day and my children's day and like their ability to empower them to thrive. I want to help be in control of just setting them up so that they can figure it out, if that makes sense. I don't want to I'm not a hovering parent, but I want to give them the opportunity to be stretched and tested and try something and feel uncomfortable. Yeah, I think those are two good examples. Oh, and also like making the beds. Like nobody else makes the beds. I mean, they try, but like they suck at making the beds and I can't handle it. I remake all the beds.
All right. I'm asking one additional question that came up in that before I loop back to this. Okay.
Okay.
So you said something very specific. It's how you evaluate success in your own business. How do you evaluate success in your own business?
So it's twofolded. So it's financially, right? Like how did I hit my goals? Am I hitting the numbers to get to my financial goal? But it's also about, and I just was reflecting on this recently. It's about my connections. It's about my discovery calls. And it's about, am I still doing the work to create more conversations? In terms of growing the business. Now, once I have a client, that success is literally about, are they excited? Were they appreciative? And are they empowered with their new presentation to do their job better? And do they say thank you?
Which I would imagine that though you closed and wrapped on that second piece, that's not ever really a concern for you. And yet you gave us 4 metrics that you use to keep yourself accountable for outbound activity. And I would imagine that as a creative, that's also part of your dynamic is you can get lost in the creative and that part being fun, exciting, and delivery. And the outreach, though you desire connection, probably doesn't feel as aligned in your efforts.
Yes. And it's interesting because I'm actually working to try and I think I need to like raise my hand and say like, I need help next year with more of my content and marketing creation because I get lost in it. And I'm also a verbal processor, so I need somebody to help work through it. Chat has been a great brainstorm, but like
it's also the hardest to do for yourself.
Yeah. But I want to help more people. And I know when I help people that I know when I talk to people, when they find out who I am and what I do, they're like, I know I need you. And so, but what I felt like is I'm not creating the right connection in my marketing space. But once I talk to them, once I get them on a call, there's no brainer. I actually worked with a coach earlier this year and I've got 4 wheels on my car that move me forward: connection, curiosity, authenticity, and joy. And so if it doesn't hit all of those, it's not something that's going on my list. It's not going on my calendar. It doesn't reach. And connection is the first one that comes up. And that can be to your point, it's many ways. It's with people. It's with my work. It's with the things I do. It's with back to my heart. It's with my, all the good stuff.
There's a couple things that came up for me there. And if they contain and remain relevant, I may ask for permission to reflect something back to you either on the show or after that I think will be valuable for you. But I love how you even communicated that and having the 4 points. What came to me, and I'm not going to put words to it at this moment because it's not as clear as I want it to be, but what came to me is directly related to how you are likely positioning or attempting to position yourself in your own marketing efforts. And what I'm going to guess is a slight gap in your ability to fully own the power of it, especially in the visual or in the written assets outside of interaction with people. I think probably describing you, few people can do, up to and including you. And so I'll expand on that a little bit further, but that's what it was related to that I think hopefully will be valuable. I do want to come back to this though, because I did have it sitting here, believe it or not.
Yeah, see,
this
it
is
helps,
helpful.
doesn't it?
This is freaking helpful. Like
So
I normally
helpful.
can keep something like top present of mind if I need to, but like 2, 3, 4 questions in, it might go. But this, I was like, I held it here and it stayed the whole time. It was like my brain just knew. You talked about this leaving your coaching business behind to go all in on your design business. And I do a lot of helping people get clarity in their voice, how to position themselves, how to garner and negotiate their worth in the marketplace. That translates into marketing, into messaging, sales language, all of these things, right? And yet I'm most of the time known as the emotion or trauma guy. Even though I do a ton on the leadership, sales, and marketing side. Why I highlight that is that I have found AI to be one of my greatest tools. Why? Because I call it a little bit like a Trojan horse, because it's what everybody wants and it gets their attention. But to make it successful, because of the way I do it and how I'm so human in the approach, I have to do the people work first. You talk about going away from coaching so that you can get out of this redundant, repetitive pattern of everything. However, I would imagine for you to get the emotional, intellectual, visual, energetic cues, understanding of the message that actually needs to be told and how they want to tell it in a way that moves a room, you aren't just doing design work, you're also likely doing coaching. And how have you been able to double down on your design work and still integrate the coaching philosophies despite the fact that you don't put a label of coaching on it any longer?
So that's a really good reflection. And yeah, you're probably right. It is very true. I will say though that I do know that my skill set is in the design and the visual delivery and supporting people and helping educate them on what that means. But when it comes to like prepping them for a presentation, I do know that there are presentation coaches, and I actually have, like, I know some, I will share them. Like, I'm also really good at knowing my boundaries. And I think that's something that, like, what I used to not be good at, like growing up, right? Trying to like be the most interesting in the room and being like, no, this is what I want to own. This is what I want to be known for. And it really helps make you better at who you are. And like, I just feel more confident because I said this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never leave my coaching. My coaching journey actually helped me better listen to people, better understand problems, better meet them where they're at. It actually gave me a lot of my fundamentals in how I use LinkedIn, because I'm on other socials, but LinkedIn is where I spend all my time. How I use LinkedIn as a marketing tool and as a storefront. Recently people have asked for my resume. And I'm like, that is just like so flat. Like, you could read my resume, but like, it has no depth into who I am or what I do. Like, my website is kind of flat too, but like my LinkedIn is where my breath is, where who I am, how I show up. You can see my comments. You can see me engage with people because I am curious. I do love people. How do I help people? I think I help them because I naturally can bring steps together. So it's just innate. It doesn't feel like coaching, but you're probably right. It is coaching. They give me a deck and it's messy. And even though I may focus slide by slide, we're also looking at the whole story. We're thinking strategically about where things are happening, how people are going to interpret information, and how they're going to connect with people. Just yesterday, I had to work on this slide that was like really, really confusing and a lot and too much information. But when you start to break things down, you make it easier for people to understand. And so I think I'm in like unintentionally coaching them on how to then share it or how to then talk about it, because, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So when you have the right visual, you take that pressure off. And I think it also, one of my other things about what I do is like my minimum ideally is 10 days from kickoff to turnaround for like a 20-page deck, because I also think I need time. But they need time. They need time to make sure the content's right. They need time to digest it. They need time to like see it and work with it. And a presentation that's been done the night before versus one that's been thought of. And that space, that pause, that ability to give rest So you can come to it, go away, come to it, are all tools that I would say that are part of coaching for sure, right? Let me give you something, you stew on it, I'll come back. You think, it's out there. Once you put it out there, you got to work on it.
And while I appreciate you leading with, I stay in my lane and I have clear boundaries and I resource and bring other people in for the actual like coaching to present it, and that your skill set's on the visual side. Here's one of the concepts that I believe and teach in coaching and everything. And this is true whether it's written or visual or spoken, right? The world will never judge us or judge you based on your intent. The world is only ever going to judge you based on what your words, actions, and behaviors communicate, or what your presentation communicates. And so often, right, what we find is whether it's marketing language, sales language and positioning, or a presentation deck, there is what the person wants to present, what they intend to present, what their heart wants to say, and then all the fucking noise that gets in the way that has the delivery and the output, whether it's the visuals or the words, not be congruent to what they actually intend.
Yeah.
And so what I am trying to pull back just a little bit, because not that you need help owning your skill sets and your powers anymore. However, I do want to highlight this. You have to surface that. And so my question is when somebody engages you and they send you a deck, how often when you see their deck, do you know exactly what they're trying to say?
Oh, rarely. I make them walk me through it.
Bingo. Right? And then how much in the process of making them walk you through it are you surfacing things that they never thought of, that they said to you but didn't know how to put visually, that they weren't able to articulate or even know that it was relevant? How often does that happen?
I mean, every call. Are you listening in?
Every fucking time, right?
Every time. Like, That's why actually part of my business model is like, I don't take email feedback. I don't take work without meeting with somebody, and every interaction I have, every review is I'll send you the deck after or before, but don't send me an email with feedback. Don't put it in the notes. Let's get on a call. Let's talk about it. Because when they start talking, my wheels start going. I guess you're right. I didn't realize that I'm actually coaching them, but I'm saying, okay, this is what I hear you say is the most important thing. Is this what we're focused on?
That's yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do that every day.
But that's what I was trying to highlight is it's really funny because you don't identify as coaching them anymore. But the only way you can produce the product that you need to produce to meet with your success standards that you articulated is if you have clarity. And the only way to get clarity is to actually ask questions. Yes. And here's the truth as well. Even though you are a master at the visual presentation, what you also know, whether you said this or not, is 55% of our communication is in the nonverbals.
Yeah.
And 38% in the delivery, the tone, and the cadence outside of the words, which is why you will not accept email feedback because you're getting less than 10% of what you need to help them actually produce the communication that they desire. Right?
Yeah. Mic drop. Totally. I love those stats.
Well, I just think it's fucking awesome to even see the humility in it. But like when you talk about this being the magical fucking badass, this unicorn, this person that loves, this person that meets people where they are, this person that asks questions, that's also why you can help them get clear in their communication and know how to visually represent it.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought about it that way, but it's so true. And it gives that, and then I'm empowering them, right? Because they're more clear on it. The more I ask questions, the more it comes out to clear. And a lot of times people are like, I have all this stuff. I'm like, give me the most stuff because what we're going to do is whittle it down, right? It's this conversation. It's also why I show up and I say, I don't know all the answers anymore. I used to show up and be like, I nailed it. But if I show up and I say it's the strategy piece that really, like, my work is very strategic. And I think that's what sets me apart than other presentation designers. I also don't enjoy projects that are just like, here's the deck, make it look better, because I don't know what I'm making look better. I mean, yeah, I can make it look better, but like, so.
But I think there's so much power in what you even just said and how you have to approach it, because here's what I also assume. Most of your clients, if not all, probably are saying to you, how did you pull that out of me? How did you know to represent it that way? I've never thought about it that way. I've never said it that way. And yet you're in your own mind realizing, yes, I'm really good at doing this, but yet the simplicity of it all as well is all you're doing is repackaging and reflecting their own words back to them.
100%. I love when a client's like, you got it. How did you get it? And I'm like, I don't know. How did I not get it? Like, how
right.
did that not make sense? Like, you said this, I just can see it in these shapes and forms and space. And like, I understand how information is digested. I geek out about neuroscience, like the way we connect with people, the way we digest information, all these things that I thought were weird before. PowerPoint was a bad word. Science, yuck, gross. Black and white stuff, gross. Love it now. I had a lot of color to it, but I love it.
I love it. I love it. Now, I have to ask though, too. There are many, many, many people, and I have a really strong stance on this. I play contrarian, even though I also speak on many stages around the concept of AI because of the way we do it from a human standpoint. But I'm a contrarian in lots and lots of ways because I don't agree with how most people are utilizing AI for written or visual content. And so I'd love to understand what you've seen develop in the marketplace in terms of the quality and clarity of presentations that are being produced with AI alongside the human component that you and only you or people like you are able to infuse.
Yeah, awesome question. I feel like, yes, it's a very brought up question or concern, right? I'm not scared of AI. So I'm not scared of the work that comes out because it's AI. It's a tech thing. Like, they may look cool, but they don't move people. They don't communicate. They don't create clarity. They don't create connection. They just maybe look cool and they've got a lot of flashing lights, right? Like, that's all that AI can do. It will never be able to articulate what you want to say, how you want to say it, and emphasize it in a way that makes meaning. So as a presenter or as that leader who's sharing this update can connect to your audience. Like, it will never remove the human touch. There will always be something like, and something that's been trending in my presentation community is like the idea of bullets. Like, bullets are bad, right? You don't want a lot of words, death by PowerPoint, but like, bullets will never go away, but how we design bullets and how you articulate bullets, they can't reproduce that. I mean, they may shorten them, but they don't get it, right? It's very forced. It's very contrived. It's still a robot creating it's only as good as your inputs. And I have friends and there are a lot of tools, and don't get me wrong. I know that everybody can't hire me and every project doesn't need a presentation designer. So these tools are great. Staring at a blank screen is scary. Get something started. I love it. I go to those. I mean, I don't use AI, but I'll use Canva or I'll research or I'll Google some slide designs, 4-part processes, like to think differently. Like, you've got to be brainstorming and seeing what's fresh or how other people are doing it and then interpret it. And that's sort of the beauty of being creative is like, you're never really starting, like you're never inventing something from nothing. But when you start with something and then you build it and you own it, you elevate it, you bring your own flair, you make it make sense for what it needs, and you can customize it in a way. And AI is just I don't think they're ever going to be able to do that. But then I did have somebody challenge me and be like, but do you see these videos now of the people, right? Like these movies and like that kind of thing and maybe it's there, maybe I'm being naive, but I just truly believe that like, my work is so rooted in human connection, like this one universal truth that we all just want to be heard, be seen, and be connected. And if we don't have humans doing that work, we're going to miss that. And I think it's going to be this, like, it's a circle, right? Like, we're in this uptick and everybody's like geeking out about it. I think it's going to come back. I think it's similar to if you study like social media behaviors where everybody was all in, especially during COVID, and like so focused. And now people are like, this is whacked. And like, I don't like the way it's making me feel or what I'm doing. And I can say that's been my experience just using AI to help me write because I'm not a writer. And I'm like, I don't like what I'm getting at anymore. And I'm not giving it the right prompts because I'm jaded. So it's a process. It's always going to be.
I agree with almost everything you said, and I'm not disagreeing with any of it. So just to be clear, like I'm just fundamentally down on all of it. What I will shift because this is the challenge I'm going to give you.
Yeah, I love it. Give it to me.
Someone like you can utilize AI at a level that most will never be able to, and you can create things to be tangible and consistent or compress time in areas that may have taken you longer. However, I do not believe in handing anything over completely. And just like your whole point of like, hey, I just get this really generic basic deck that somebody just threw bullet points in. That's kind of how most people use AI. I need a presentation deck on this. And they just hand it over from there with little or no interaction or questions, no inputs, no guardrails, no vision of where it wants to go, no process of iteration and clarity and questions. But that's where I will tell you, I was a late adopter as it relates to AI adoption in the marketplace of the small percentage of the world that still has done it. However, in that time, because of how me understanding my brain and how it works and the questions and the patterns, there are ways that we've been able to unlock it as a tool that truly can compress time on things that you wouldn't have believed and yet isn't sacrificing the human. By the way, this isn't a pitch to get you to use AI.
No,
what I am suggesting, though, is that the process of what you go through to create it stagnantly in PowerPoint and Canva and other components, the same iterative process paired with AI as a tool can actually amplify it even more if used with the same level of intention, the same level of grace, the same level of humanity, because it's no different, frankly, than using a Canva or a PowerPoint. It's a tool.
Yeah.
But it's how it's the inputs to the tool, how you guide and direct the tool, and your willingness to iterate to a place of depth that actually creates clarity.
Yeah.
And few people do that. Few people. They'll, can you write this email to make me sound better? Let's make it sound more professional, right? Give me a presentation or write an article on this with no other context. And yet what you just highlighted is your ability to pull this out of people is through interaction, through questions, through depth, through iteration, through a process. The tool doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, you're so the issue is what's funny. And the only reason I bring this up is there's some work that I do with people that they genuinely believe that AI is the product because I do a working session with them and we produce something. But then they'll go try and use AI without me guiding them, doing it alongside them with the prompts, the structure, the questions, the guardrails, the whatever. And they can never get there. Ever. And so that would be the piece I would challenge you on is how could a tool make your superpower even more powerful?
Yeah, I love that. I like that challenge.
And by the way, I think I could teach you a thing or two there too, which I think would be fun.
I'm open for this. Let's bring that. Let's bring that
I had to ask that question because it's so obvious in interacting with you how much you pick up on. You're seeing the nonverbals. You're transferring and recognizing energy, even the way that you respond and reflect. And we joked about this looking at yourself on the screen, but yet you're seeing me and seeing you and able to process it all. And you're grounding everything. You talk fast. You, I'm sure, walk fast. You're highly fucking creative. And that is all obvious. So that leads me to a really, really, really fucking important question. When did BYOT become your party motto? And what does BYOT mean for those who don't know what I'm saying?
Bring your own tambourine. I think my first time I owned, it was the wedding circuits. So I want to say like 2005, 2006. So 20 years of BYOT. But even, it's about 20 years of BYOT. There was some company parties where there was live band karaoke, and that was the only instrument that they would like let us touch. Obviously the band didn't want us. And it was the morning after when you're like recounting things, and I just remember doing something and being like, oh, my leg really hurts. And it was just covered in bruises.
The tambourine.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of started the correlation. I actually still have images pop up in like my, Google images of like bruises from weddings. I've got a bruise on my eye from a tambourine because I also now understand my age. And so I'll hit it on the floor and it's like ricocheted in my, it's a beat. It's a beat and it's a rhythm and it's an expression and it just adds more flavor and so 20-ish years for sure.
I love that. Do you have a tambourine by your side that you could show us a demonstration real quick?
No, it's upstairs in our music room.
So we're coming towards the tail end of our interview,
I like that
even
question. I think I need one in here. I just got a new one.
I'm kind of feeling like you need one ready to go and pull out on podcast interviews. Yeah. Just show it. Just
my husband gifted me one after like our third date. He like just showed up one night with a tambourine in his backpack. It was the funniest, like most bizarre thing.
That's hilarious. Do you still have that tambourine?
Yeah, I do. It's like one of the best ones I ever bought. Or got. Yeah. I go in the dark ones. I have ones with my wedding logo on them. We got a lot.
How many tambourines do you own?
Well, I do have like a bag of baby tambourines that I've like repurposed and we've used. And then I think I have 3 or 4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have 0.
Surprise birthday party. They like not the little ones, but like real ones showed up. Like this, people know.
I mean, I love
to
that.
Bring
Like,
my tambourine to parties. They know.
I love that part of your brand is tambourines. That's amazing. That's amazing. I feel like
so it's really, I guess there's mitzvahs coming, but like the wedding circuit really emphasized the greatness.
I feel like the next layer to that though is you need tambourines and what do they call them? The kazoos. You could have a tambourine and a kazoo.
So do you know that thing that's like all these beads wrapped around a cylinder? That thing's
totally.
really
And there's like something that you can turn it. Yeah, totally.
That thing's really good too. I really like that one.
I could see that. I could see you totally being into that.
Anything to like hit the beat. It's kind of like the Saturday Night Live skit, you know, like anything that like gets you like that. It's very like it's kind of a resting position in a way too. It's movement, but it's like there's this repetitiveness. Feels good.
What is lighting you up most currently?
Well, I really love my kitchen. We just remodeled our house and I have this office with a door so I can shut the world in and shut the world out. So walking in my house makes me so happy. For sure.
By the way, I like it, a side passion that I was not involved with for a few years, but I've gotten way deeply involved again in the last year. I love to cook. And I am like particular about my kitchen and I have a vision for how I'm going to remodel mine when the time is right. What excites you most about your kitchen?
Oh, I have these amazing, sexy lights and it sets the whole mood. It's cozy. It's comforting. It brings everybody in. We also have like a gigantic, like 12-foot island that's like 5 feet wide.
That's the best.
And it's where everybody congregates. But I do love, my favorite views are watching my kids sit at the table and like last night there was a game and there was a work, like she was doing highlights puzzles and I was cleaning the kitchen and it's moments like that. Like we opened up the space and it's ours. And then there's like these chairs and eventually we'll have some things hanging. I will not have a beige wall because that is too basic for me. But
I was going to say it does feel a little basic in there right now.
So big. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But like I'm taking my time because we're patient. Got to do it right.
Where are you experiencing the most amount of resistance in your life right now?
Oh, where? My daughter. She's a tough cookie right now.
She's the 10-year-old?
No, she's a 6-year-old.
She's the 6-year-old?
My 10-year-old's like in a good spot. The 6-year-old is figuring out her shit. We just got her like full neuropsych eval over the summer and we're working on medication and she's got some anxieties and she is so strong-willed and she's so smart and she knows what she needs. She doesn't always, she knows that she needs help. She doesn't know how to articulate it. She knows she has all these big feelings. She doesn't know what they are. And so she's in therapy. She's getting her help and we're working through it. And, medicine has been good and then it's been bad. So now we're, it's a journey. But
by the way, both my kids I put into the special needs category. My daughter's hearing impaired, has dyslexia and generalized anxiety and some processing components. And my son is on the spectrum, has sensory processing ADHD. And I only say this to you because I feel like I understand a lot about what you just said in a different way. And we'll close that conversation later. But my heart goes out to you for having that be the biggest area of resistance, because as a parent, that's hard. It's just hard. It's hard. Yeah.
I just want to make everybody happy, right? Like, I mean, that's my goal. That's what I do on a daily basis. It's like helping people feel more confident and be happy. And like,
totally.
I can't solve it for them, but I will say, again, not to like build myself up, I'm really fucking good at helping them find the tools and set them up to be advocates and be vocal and say, I need help. And they are learning how to do that. And that's why my son at 10, he is the same. His sensory processing, he has ADHD. He's got some other things. He is thriving because he's had success. And I go back and I say, this works. Let's keep going. What else can we do? Right. And they also know that like I'm here. So if things suck, like we'll talk it out. So I think we have a lot of similarities, my friend. A lot. And yes, even the words you used about your goals for your kids to be able to advocate for themselves and all of it. That's been our primary focus. And it's amazing when they can start to be able to use their words and do that, not just for themselves, but to even do it for others, which is really special to witness. My friend, I know we're coming. Thank you for saying that. It's nice to It's nice to have alignment on that, right?
We're not. And yet, sometimes we can feel that way, especially when we are in our homes with our own neurodiverse kids and we look around and it seems like everybody else's kids are just like peachy pie perfect, like super easy neurotypical children that don't seem to, have emotion or highs and lows. And I realize that's not true. I'm being a little dramatic even in my example, but there are times with neurodiverse kids that it's not easy. So, and by the way, I mean, I'm also probably highly neurodiverse. I just didn't go to the effort of getting diagnosed. I just know now because both my kids did, and it's clearly me.
Sure. No doubt. No doubt. The more I learn about them, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I'm dyslexic. I'm ADHD. I'm likely on the spectrum. I definitely have sensory issues. I just didn't know it for all these years. Yeah. And now I'm 40 and I'm just now understanding it, So, my friend, I know we're coming to the tail end of our interview and you are a rock star. I genuinely really enjoy just how you show up in the world and the heart that's felt in everything. We're going to have, all of your links, especially your LinkedIn, since that's the best demonstration for you in the show notes. But as we come to the tail end of this show, sometimes I ask people if they want to leave a closing message, but I feel maybe a slightly different spark with you. What is the magic that you want to leave everybody with today?
Oh, I just want people to stay curious and to trust that curiosity is a superpower. And when you are curious, when you're engaged and when you check in with others, right? When you spread that curiosity and that joy, that's the magic, I think, of what our world needs now, and being sincere and intentional with your curiosity.
Yeah. By the way, I think curiosity in and of itself is the magic, right? Yeah. It's what connects and helps us convert, and all of the things that you discussed you care about. Thank you so much for how you showed up today. And, my friend, it was awesome being with you.
Oh, Brian, thank you so much. It's awesome to chat with you. I'm so glad that we made this happen.
Beautiful. And for those of you who just watched Emily flip open her lid and jump in, man, I love people who move fast, walk fast, and make a ton of impact. It's not a dissimilar story in the need to learn to receive love, validation, and connection through performance, but the unwinding and the clarity that we can get by understanding who we are, and more importantly, finding our unique area of brilliance, our superpowers that we can stand in and own and realize, is also when we can start to actually align and have joy, freedom, and fulfillment in a different way. When we break the patterns and lean into rest and ask questions, and ultimately are just consistently focused on how we can feel best in our own skin and help others show up and feel the best in theirs, it seems as everything just flows, and creativity and curiosity are at the forefront. You can have all of that as well, but it's going to require you to ask questions of yourself, to get in relationship with yourself, and ultimately to flip open your lid and scan your can. We'll see you next time.
What you can probably tell by now is that I love telling these stories, but what I love even more is the impact that's coming from them. You see, we're on a mission to impact over 1 billion lives as quickly as possible, but to do that, we need you. See, we believe that moved people move people. And so all I'm asking is, if you've resonated, connected with any of the messaging, please consider commenting, sharing, leave a rating and review. Thank you so much for tuning into Flippin' the Lid. And if you want more information on the show, how to become a guest, how to recommend a guest, or any of the other details, head over to flippinthelid.com. We'll see you there.